And we are live. Thank
Woohoo.
you. Thank you for another showing up here for another episode of Unstoppable Overcomers. Today we have our guest, Mr. Russ Hedge. And Russ is an an inspirational specialist, coach, and motivational speaker. He's the author of Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, and the companionship workbook just released on ebook format on Amazon. He's also a live streamer and a podcaster with Marketing with Russ, aka Russ Selfie and Russ Reels Live, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Wow, you have quite a few shows there, Russ.
Got lots going on.
My gosh, I knew about a couple. I didn't know about all those. So, Russ, can you tell us a little bit about your overcomer story before we get into how you become Russ Selfie and an amazing author?
Well, hey, Dorothy, thank you so much. First of all, what a pleasure and an honor to be on with you tonight, and so much fun. You're such a great person. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. So, I could go way, way back, but we're just going to go back as far as college to really, my book, which we do it this way, Dorothy. We do it Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. Go do it with me. Here we go. Befuddled. Live the life, you choose. There you go.
I love that. I love that.
My beautiful wife came up with that title because one day I was in a little bit too big of a hurry, and I was a little out of sorts, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm great," because I'm the always things are great, things are awesome, let's go kind of person. And she's going, "No, really, are you okay? Because you look kind of befuddled." That was her comment to me, and I said, "No, I'm not befuddled." But of course, I'm the husband. And when I left, normally she is right. And when I left about 1 mile down the road, I thought, I am befuddled. I really, I was out of sorts that day. But anyway, going back to my overcomer story, I was actually asked this a while back for something that Reggie was doing, Waterman, on his show. And back when I was in college, I'd come out of high school and I was a good kid and went into college, really got kind of lost in college, lost in the noise of my young adulthood, and did a lot of stuff that I really shouldn't have. And sometimes because today, not only have I been in sales and marketing and business all these years, but I'm also a licensed pastor. So a lot of people that know me now are like, wow, really? You did those things? Yeah, I did. So we're not going to get into all that, but suffice it to say, I did plenty that I shouldn't have done. I had after my freshman year in college, I had a devastating car accident, July 9th of 1983, and almost died. I was life-flighted to Emmanuel Hospital here in Portland. And because the trauma team was so incredible and took good care of me, and by the grace of God, I lived through that. And it taught me more about how precious life is. I also taught me how to gain the strength to overcome challenges. I had to relearn how to walk and talk and do everything over again. But again, by the grace of God, by September of that year, I was actually back at Oregon State. I recovered quickly. I was young and healthy before the accident, so I recovered really quickly. And so I went through the next couple of years of college, still not completely. I didn't come out of that accident and get it all together. It took me a couple more years of really kind of trying to discover where I was at and what I was going through, and doing some more things I shouldn't have. And then I met my beautiful wife, and I met the Lord, and those two things really transformed my life. And I made a huge change. Not only did I get married to my beautiful wife right after I graduated from Oregon State, but I also went to work at a big advertising PR firm in Portland, and really kicked off my business career. Also got right into music ministry. I was always musical, and our family is very musical. So started doing music in church and doing ministry that way. So that really was the defining moment, though, in that whole thing, going through college and then having that horrible accident. because that experience really kind of stayed with me over the next couple of years until the big change happened when I came out of college and really got my life together. And so that was really my overcomer story. At that point, every day we have a new overcoming story. But I've had a pretty blessed life.
It sounds like it. That is such an incredible story. Wow. Like, unbelievable. I just want to say hi to a couple of our friends here. Tim is here. He just says hi, friends.
Hey, Tim.
And actually, a shout out to God. And Tim is in music ministry as well. I just found that out last week. So that's awesome. That's a great thing that you guys have in common. So, yeah. Wow, that is quite the overcomer story there, Russ. What made you decide to go into the ministry part?
Well, I mean, really coming out of college, like I said, even after the accident, I struggled still through the next couple of years. And it was because of my beautiful wife and her influence on my life, and really seeing how God was working in her life. I started going to church with her and doing things. And it was really the transformation I had when God really got a hold of my heart and I moved forward. And I loved music. And the church she went to, I had come out of a church that didn't do a whole lot. It was very traditional. And I kind of felt like if I let out a peep that God would thump my head and, the lightning bolts would come crashing down. And in her church, they sang and they had fun and everybody clapped and it was fun. And I thought, wow, church can actually be fun. So anyway, when I got into that and I got involved in music after getting saved and back in, 1987. And then we got married and we just were very active. And so it just was kind of a natural. They asked me to help and do things. Next thing you know, I'm on staff, and I was on staff at 2 or 3 churches. And then I became licensed pastor, probably in the last 7 years, and was able to take it to the next level. So anyway, nowadays, however, I'm just back to an active member singing in church because I've had to be with my parents. My dad passed away about 3 years ago now. And and he had cancer and dementia. And my mom has Alzheimer's and is in a memory care. Still the happiest person I know. And I was blessed with the greatest parents. But I wanted to be able to spend time with them. And so our family has kind of pulled together and been able to spend more family time. And so I had to give in a little bit on that. So I'm just an active, happy, clapping, singing member now.
Tim also says, will you be singing for us?
Oh, Tim, you should have asked me that when we were on the phone earlier, Tim. I could have sung for you on the phone. I actually leave that to Rachel Druckenmiller because she loves to sing. And I love to sing too, but yeah, I'll just smile today.
He also loves the photos of your mom on social media. I've heard Rachel sing. She's absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh.
Oh, she is. She does. She's great. And it's being somebody who's been involved in music my whole life. I started in college as a music ministry major. And I have a super musical family. My son is a professional musician, and my daughter is a wonderful worship leader, and actually works at our church doing that. So so it's been great, and now I live vicariously through them.
I wish I could sing. That's one of the things I wish I could do. Once in a while, I'll start, but it's just like when no one's around.
Well, a lot of my singing, if you really want to hear me sing, you could look at videos with my mama, because she and I, when she was not as far along with her Alzheimer's, we used to walk her hallways and we would sing. And they were hashtag happy moments with mama, hashtag I love my mama, and hashtag lappin' and laughin'. That's what we called it, lappin' and laughin'. And so there's a couple of YouTube videos of us. I actually started in podcasting with my mama. We did a Happy Moments with Mama podcast, about 5 or 6 of them. Mm-hmm. And they were a ton of fun. And she just is very joyful and loved spreading joy to other people, even, in the condition she was in. And so but of course we're just, we're goofing around singing that kind of stuff. But it was fun.
We're not listening. You can sing now. Thanks. Thanks, Tim. Love you too. Just wait. So how did you transition into being a minister and everything to now being a published author and being a podcaster? How did you transition into that?
Yeah, it's interesting because my whole life prepared me for the things I'm doing now. So ministry and sales and marketing are really super similar. They're all about relationship building. They're all about supporting people. And it was really great life. I mean, the two career paths were very similar. So I really enjoyed both of them. And before the pandemic hit, my friend D. Scott Smith, which a lot of people might know, he and I co-host The Experience together on Wednesday mornings, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Anyway, he started encouraging me. We had coffee in October of 19, and we were talking, and he said, Russ, you should really think about doing some coaching, starting your own business, helping people, because you're already doing that with your team and people in business. You're already speaking. You should think about speaking. You should really think about podcasting and maybe writing a book. And he just really encouraged me. And then I had a few other friends that encouraged me as well. So I thought, okay, so I kind of started, I got my website, I did some things. So it was kind of my side hustle, right? And then thank the Lord, January of 2020, Scott showed me how to use Zoom because I had never used it. And then March comes around and voila, the world goes into craziness, right? And everything changed. So I made the gigantic pivot and I decided it was time to just go into my business for myself. And my wife was very encouraging and told me, God's given you this space and this platform and this time to do that. And if you were ever going to do it, now's the time. And so I decided, I'm going to go for it. And I've never looked back. I have good days and bad days. I have times of great excitement and other times I think, what am I doing? And so, but it's been great.
I think that's every entrepreneur. I think we all have those moments of like, oh my gosh,
really. What was I thinking?
What was I thinking? Exactly.
Oh, whose idea was this anyway? So
I can blame it on God because God told me to do it. So I have an out.
It was a real God moment for me. It was. I felt very, very directed. It's helped me to rely more on God with all that I do because there might be some weeks where I need to pay the bills and I don't have the money yet. And so God miraculously provides that. And so but it was definitely something that I knew that I was supposed to do. And so, it's been fun. And I tell you, then went from podcasting into live streaming, which I live stream even my podcast now, and doing workshops online, wrote the book actually, because I had all the time. I wrote the book in about 5 months. My wife was also encouraging me, said, hey, now more than ever, as Tim would say, now more than ever. People need that book. And actually, I'd outlined it and got it going before COVID, but it's so applicable to COVID because the chapters the number one chapter is fighting through the noise. Chapter 2 is be intentional. And chapter 3 is purpose in the midst of chaos. And so they pretty much set the stage for what the book is all about. And it's really it's a tool to encourage people and give them actionable steps they can utilize, or at least ideas of how they can be more purposeful, intentional, and how they can really live the life they choose. Because I'm a firm believer that no matter what happens to us, we get to choose what we do with it. And I always joke every day, I put on my awesome filter every morning because when I get up, before I get out of bed, I always start by being thankful. for God, for my beautiful wife, for my family. Then the second thing I say is, I've got this. I give myself a pep talk. I have the talents and abilities. I can do it. And then number 3, I say, today's going to be awesome. And it's funny because people I coach, a lot of them will say, yeah, Russ, I can't say that. And I'm like, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter what you say or how you go about it. It's all about setting your mind, getting your mindset in a focused, positive, intentional way so that you can take on the day. Instead of starting from a negative platform, why not start from an awesome platform? So there you
Exactly.
go.
Tim has a couple questions here. First one is, how do you stay positive?
Well, honestly, I would say God's number one, because I always feel strengthened and I always feel like he's with me. And so that would be number one. Number 2 is my beautiful wife. Been married for over 33 and a half years.
Wow.
And yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. And
Anybody deserves applause after 30.
yeah, I am so blessed. I mean, not only is she beautiful, but she is my best friend and helper and always there for me, and my biggest supporter, and the one that keeps me on track. When I get a little too crazy, she redirects me. Sometimes she has to bonk me on the head and say, stop and think about what you're doing. And so, yeah, it's great. And then I have a beautiful family. I'm really blessed. I had great parents growing up. My story is not coming out of not having a good a childhood, because I had a wonderful childhood and, was blessed. I just happened to go through that little segment where I went off on my own and had to rediscover myself, which, some people do, some people don't, but I had to go through that. So, but anyway, and so that's really why I stay positive. Every day I get up and I intentionally decide that I'm going to continue to be positive.
So set the intention is what I keep hearing. Set the
Yep.
intention on how you want your day to go. Set the mindset, set the intention, and give gratitude, or is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Definitely over and over. Okay.
Well, I am an inspiration specialist too, so I've got to be inspiring. So yeah, there you go. Tim was saying something. There you go.
Tell us about your upcoming workshops.
Oh, hey, man, you're so good. Actually, I was telling Dorothy before I came on, Tim, that I'm struggling with Eventbrite. But I have a Purpose to Profit workshop coming up starting this week. And it's all about gaining a firm foundation based on your why or your purpose in life. So you basically strip everything back to really, why do you do things? Why do you get up in the morning? What is your purpose in life? And you build off of that. Because when you have purpose in life, you will be more productive and more profitable. And that's how we get from purpose to profit. And profitable is not always money. Profit can be a great life, a great family, all kinds of things, or it can be a good, profitable business. We all have to have profit in our business if we want to keep going and help others. We have to be able to pay the bills and make money in our business. So, so I'm super encouraged about that. And hopefully people be interested. They can sign up on Eventbrite when I get it all straightened out. And it starts this Thursday.
Okay, I'll put that in the comments.
Thursday at noon Pacific Daylight Time, online. It'll be out on Zoom, and it is a 5-part workshop.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm listening to you. I'm just putting this in the comments for you.
I can keep talking. It's fine.
No, Tim has a couple more comments here. Russ, crazy, no way. There was another one. He goes, he's feeling befuddled.
Well, there is times I still feel befuddled. That's true. And honestly, everybody feels that way to some extent throughout their week or month or whatever. We have little moments of befuddlement. But I think if you're filled with purpose and you're very intentional and you have a good mindset, you work your way out of that very quickly. And that's what a lot of what my book's about.
Right. We have a new viewer here. Robert, thanks for coming, Robert. Robert is actually in our class with Tim. So thank you for showing up. Yes, yeah, he's also on LinkedIn. He's very active on LinkedIn too, Russ. I'm not sure if you know him. Great guy. You might want to connect.
We definitely need to connect.
Yes. There was something that you just said that actually blew my mind, and it was like an epiphany. I've been having lots of little breakthrough moments since the pandemic hit, but even more so lately when I've been surrounding myself with like-minded people and really going after what I want in life. And there's been a rough patch at work, and but I allowed myself to let it go, and I actually was intentional this weekend. And I started off with having an amazing conversation with a friend on Friday. Saturday morning, was part of my mastermind group. Then I had some really good energy healing, and breakthroughs like galore. And then family. You talked about family. I haven't seen some of my family since my wedding, which was in October of 2019. And my cousin had just had a baby, and I hadn't been able to see the baby. She's 8 months old. And it was just, I felt like my soul had been just renewed. Just everything. I was just so thankful. Like you said, I was thankful just from having a conversation with a friend to everything that I did. I was intentional on making sure that, it was a great time for my parents. But I like what you said. Prospering doesn't have to be with money. It could be in relationships, and that really brings forth richness. I mean, I felt like I was on top of the world all weekend long because I was focusing on what I love, and I just love how you said that.
Yeah, I mean, family to me is so important. It's critical. I only have one sister, and she and I haven't seen each other much through the pandemic, even though she doesn't live all that far away, but just because of all the craziness.
Yeah.
And so when we had this family gathering this weekend, we got together for my niece's graduation from high school. And my sister grabbed me and hugged me, I think about a dozen times, and said, I haven't been able to hug you forever. And it was very nice. We had a really good time, and it is refreshing to be with your family. And it's always been important to me.
Yes. I say family isn't just one thing, it's everything.
Yeah.
And especially like, yourself, when your dad had cancer, my dad's going through a second bout of cancer. This time it's in his liver. And it's brought us really closer together. Like the pandemic has tried to pull us apart, not letting us see each other. And my parents live 45 minutes away. So when we were on true lockdown and you weren't supposed to leave your house, and if you were, I don't know, some people said that if the police can pull you over and find out where your address is and why you're going somewhere and perhaps ticket you or send you back home. Anyways, my parents said, just stay home. So I was just like, but with everything going on, I really want to see my dad, So
Yeah.
especially with a cancer diagnosis, you never know. I mean,
No.
but anybody never knows. I mean, we could be hit by a bus tomorrow. So life is short. So I say just live it, and I'll fight the ticket
Yes.
later.
Yeah. No, you're so right. I mean, you got to live every moment. Life is precious. Every moment counts. And so my dad, his first bout with cancer was about 8 years before the last, bout that ended things. And he beat it. We thought the first time he had surgery, they took out most of one lung. He had lung cancer. He was a lifelong smoker. So he had, they took out most of one lung, and we almost lost him a couple times at the hospital, but he recovered and he got back to a fairly normal life for him. But then at the end, when I moved he and my mother to independent living. It was a facility it had all the different stages. I did it on purpose because mom had already been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And so she was in the early stages. Dad was getting a little forgetful. They couldn't take care of themselves. So we moved them in there. And my dad went from shopping and driving his car to less than 5 months later, he was gone. And so it went very, very fast. And there was good things about that. I mean, as weird as that sounds to say, the good thing was it was very, very bad at the end. So he didn't have to suffer through that for a long period of time. And that was a blessing. It's hard to lose your dad, but I didn't want him to suffer and be the way he was, because it was pretty horrible at the end. Yeah.
Wow. I feel a kinship with you because my dad's first bout was with lung cancer and
Oh,
he beat
wow.
it. Yeah, he beat that. And now we're working on the liver. And I'm sure
Wow.
he's going to beat that too. A little bit of a setback last week, but we're keep moving forward and doing the treatments that are recommended and
Yeah.
just praying daily.
Yes. Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely.
praying.
No,
Yes.
I agree. And the thing is, no matter how much time he ends up with, a long life still, or not a much time, whatever it turns out to be, just spending time with them and being together, it makes the time you have together more important. And I think after I moved my parents into the independent living, I had lived about 45 minutes away from them. So my sister had been over at their house a little more than I was. She was closer. And so when I moved them really close to me because I knew it was going to take a lot more work on my end. I'm the older brother, so I had power of attorney and had to do all the stuff. And I was over there most days. So I went a lot because I decided I was going to spend as much time as I could with them. And so, yeah, thankful I did.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. At the end of life, like, do you want to have regrets or what are you going to do, right? And that's the
Yeah.
thing. As being the oldest, I know we got to do what we have to do, even though sometimes the pressure can feel a little bit overwhelming. But
Yeah.
I guess that's why Guy had us first.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think that he puts a support system around us. I was blessed. My sister pretty much just said, hey, you're the older brother. Whatever you do is fine. My dad had really wanted to make sure that I was the primary taking care of everything. So he had set things up. We'd kind of laid the groundwork a couple of years heading into the end, and which was good because they got their wills and their everything they wanted in order. And we were able to sell their house, and they were able to be involved with that sale. We were able to get rid of, sell their car, get them into that independent living. So basically, we got them down to a simple life and got rid of a lot of the really big challenges before my dad passed away. And, it made it easier on me and my beautiful wife, who was completely not only supported me, but she also helped direct me when I was in denial about how quickly it was happening to my mom and dad. She was like, I think you need to go over there and you need to have a talk. You need to figure some things out because this is what I'm seeing. And because of her, I was way more prepared, and it was all because of her support. So.
Right. The support system in any area of our lives is definitely important.
Oh my
So
goodness.
my husband's been a rock too. Since the moment we found out, he's just been like, yeah, right there with me. He can tell when I need a hug because he just grabs me and gives me a hug. So our spouses are definitely amazing people, I have to say.
Yeah, it's true. And I have Leah, my wife's parents are wonderful. I couldn't have had better in-laws. I mean, if I guess I handpicked them because I handpicked her anyway, but no, but she has great parents. And so when they need things, they have been, talk about a support system. They've been there to help us. I joke with them that I still owe them a million favors for all the stuff they did for us through our early marriage. And so anytime they call me, I'm like, you bet I'm there. I'll do whatever. I'll change my schedule. If Leah needs me to go with her to do stuff, I'll go. I'll find a way to work it out because it's important for me to help them. They're in their mid 80s and they're getting to where they need some extra help and support. And I want to be able to help them.
Exactly. Robert has a comment here. His dad is going to need a kidney. I've never been able to make him proud or even accept me. I would have happily given him one of my kidneys. It might be the only thing I could give him that he couldn't give himself. Maybe it would bring us closer.
Wow.
God bless you, Robert.
Yeah, definitely. That's rough, Robert, that he needs a kidney. And it's, all I can say is no matter what you get back, love your dad, we have to do, I always say, be an actor, not a reactor. It's one of my themes to life. and that is to act and do the things that you think are right and you feel are right, no matter what happens back to you, not whether it's reciprocated or whether people are horrible back to you, whatever. And so I would say give your family and your dad all the love you can, and that will at least, you will know your heart's in the right place, and that will make a change. It does. It will make a difference. Over time, it definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Now more than ever, right, Tim?
now more than ever.
Now more than ever. Well, there's so much. So Tim is going through right now with our friend Nancy and many other people, Radiating Real, that's on LinkedIn. I love that. I told Tim I'm living vicariously through his realness. I told him I'll be fake and just sit in the background and you be real. No, just kidding. But yeah, he, Tim has gone through challenges. I'm not going to tell his story, but he is, what a wonderful guy he is. I mean, I got to be honest. He's a great friend. And even though we've never met in person, we've been online together many times. We just were on the phone before I got on the show. Yeah. And what a great guy. I really, not only do I pray for him, but I'm very thankful that Tim's in my life.
Yeah. I have to say, I can totally concur with that, because Tim has been, I've been in both of his Survive and Rise and the advanced one for the live shows, and he's become like a friend instead of just a coach. So shout out to Tim. And yes, I heard, let's do the Tim dance in honor of Tim here. We have some more people joining us. My friend Gina here from Windsor. Hello, my good friend. Jenny Gold.
Hey, Jenny. Yes, gotta love Radiating Real. Jenny does great work.
She does.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Tim is accepted in Allie. Allie, amazing. That's true. And we all love Jenny.
That's so great.
This is definitely, this has been amazing. I don't know if you guys.
It's a love fest.
It's a love fest. That's right. Well, it's funny because up earlier, Tim did say love.
Love. There you go. Everybody, the online community that's developed over the last 18 months or so, what a wonderful family, really is developed. People that really care and support each other. And, through the first year and a half of my business and all the stuff I'm doing, I have got nothing but support and love from people. Tim, Survive and Rise, which I give huge shout outs for, was actually a sponsor of my podcast, Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. And so, yeah, he's always been very supportive as well. So that's great.
Yes. I just have to ask here, of your shows here, Marketing with Russ, aka Russ Selfie. So what is that? I just want to go into your shows a little bit, because you have, I want to, for our viewers that are listening, what is it? What's the focus of the Marketing with Russ?
Okay. Well, it's good for you to know that, since you're going to be on there. So yes, it is how amazing people connect. That is the theme of the show. And so I bring on amazing people from all over the world. It's been such a blessing. I do it twice a week, Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time every week. It's been such a blessing that I've developed such great friendships. When I was gone on Memorial Day, I didn't want to stop my podcast. So I had my good friend Alan Hennessy from Dublin, Ireland, guest host my show. And I had a friend from New York, Wendy Glavin, was on the show. And you just think about that. I would have never, had the pandemic happened, I would have never met Alan or Wendy, at least not at this time of my life. Right. And so what a blessing it is to be able to, and when I call people friends, when I talk about Tim and when I talk about Alan and even you, Dorothy, we're new friends, but still, I really mean that. I appreciate you guys. I mean, because the community has been such a support for me. And I always feel like everybody's there to lift each other up and make each other better. I'm a
Yeah.
big believer in we are better together. So
Yes.
now that I've pulled us off your subject, I'm going to take us back to the podcast. Besides being about how amazing people connect, the marketing with Russ, of course, sales and marketing. I'm all about connecting, marketing, networking, helping people in those areas. The hashtag Russ Selfie is a story of its own, because in all my networking, connecting, and marketing locally before the pandemic, I got known for my hashtag Russ selfies that I would take at all the events that I was at, which I'm doing again. But that's just, everybody loves the selfie, right? So I would take selfies at networking events and different things, and people would dive in and have fun and laugh. And it was a great connection tool because you got to know people faster by taking selfies. You'd actually take one. The first time I meet you, Dorothy, I take a selfie. The next time I see you, these new friends are coming up, giving me a hug, saying, Russ. And I'd only met them one time before, but they'd had a chance to get to know you because you tag them on social media. They get to know you. You move on, and it's a great connection tool. So that's kind of how that whole name evolved. And it's really a talk show learning about how amazing people connect. The second one is the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And that was my first venture into live streaming. Scott and I, who is my co-host, have been friends for years. And we just started interviewing people in kind of a talk show format about not only connection and business, networking, but business and what was really going on in people's lives. And Scott would always joke, it's like the Tonight Show, he'd said. We'll say, hey, Dorothy, I hear you got this new movie coming out. Do you have a trailer? Tell us about your movie. Whatever's going on in your life, that's what we talk about.
Right.
And the Russ Reels is more of a topic-driven show, and that is one that I do. And usually I try to get a few people on there at one time, at least a couple, and we'll talk on topics. Like last week I had one, and I had Raquel Boris and Victor Villegas, and they were talking about Raquel's new rack vision. Raquel and I have been friends for a while now, and Victor is actually out of Corvallis, Oregon, here close to where I live. And we connected the two of them on the Experience, that show. And Victor is now doing puppets and doing educational stuff on Rack Vision with Raquel. So kind of cool. So that one's, that kind of a topic, just whatever comes up. One week I had, I now have to think about all the ones I've had. But yeah, usually I'll get 2, 3, 4 people on, and we'll talk about something.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I have to reiterate what you said about our community on LinkedIn. Everybody's just phenomenal. I've yet to meet somebody that has been miserable or negative or anything like that. They are all positive people. They are all support each other. Like, it doesn't matter even if, because some of us are coaches and some of us are live streamers and some of us are authors, and like we're running this kind of like the same thing, but we're all helping each other out. And nowhere in the history of the world up till now have I ever seen that. Like in the environment that I grew up in, and the friendships that I've had up till now, it's just I still, it amazes me sometimes because I've connected and grown with so many amazing men and women, and including yourself, Russ. It's been a pleasure to just be part of it all, because it's mind blowing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it is. It's collaboration over competition. I didn't make that up, but I think Jason Leibowitz maybe made that up through all he's doing, but it's true, because everybody's collaborating, supporting, helping each other. I wake up on a Friday morning. Was it last week? I don't know. Rob Statham, who's been a new friend over the last few months, he does a Friday spotlight on me and does this whole thing on me. And there I am, my picture, and he's talking about me. I've had that done for me by Reggie Waterman. I've been on so many podcasts, including, I've been a podcast in Dublin, Ireland, and other areas of the world, as well as I've had people from India, Australia, London, Ireland, all over the world on my podcast. And it is amazing, because not only the pandemic kind of gave everybody something in common and kind of a level playing field.
Yeah.
And it really kind of helped draw people together if you let it. If you chose to look at the positive things that came out of that, there was so much positive. It was great.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like a lot of people just moan and groan about the pandemic, but if you stop and think about it, if you just looked at the opportunity that you had sitting in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
yes, okay, we were stranded. We were not allowed to leave our homes for different periods of times. So in those moments, you have the internet, unlimited access to anything that you ever wanted.
Right.
Zoom, Zoom has connected more people, and Facebook Lives or LinkedIn Lives or things like that. Like if you took the time instead of bitching and moaning, complaining about it, I never in a million years thought that I'd be doing my own live show, meeting different people from all over the world. And, I've been on, like you said, different podcasts from Spain to, what was that? I want to say Australia. Yeah, it was Australia and the UK. Like you said, that would never have happened if I was just stuck, focused on the day job that I had, and instead here we are trying to inspire people. We're trying to, help people, lift people up. This pandemic has been hard mentally on a lot of people. And I'm not going to lie. Occasionally it's been really rough for me, just with the different things going on medically with my family, not being able to see them in those times. But, if you focus on the positive instead of the negative, better things are going to come of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's been, like you said, mind blowing, the opportunities. And I'm trying to remember if Scott said this, somebody said the quote that the barrier to entry nowadays is just your willingness to step forward and participate.
Yeah.
And you can do some incredible things that years ago we would have never thought that we could do. I never thought I could put together a show and have little intros and outros and make it look kind of professional and make it all look good, because there's all the tools at your disposal to be able to do that stuff. And it makes it fun to be able to do that. Every time I have my intro of my show, I have little clips of people that were on, and every now and then I'll change that. And it's kind of fun to look back. And, there goes Russ Johns, and there goes Raquel Boris, and there goes Reggie Waterman, and there goes, Hallie Avelio. I'm saying her name wrong. Anyway, yeah, great people that are doing so many exciting things. And the fact that they've all been willing to come on my show and, chat with me and bless me with their presence. It's really, I feel honored to be able to do the things that I've done.
Exactly. And so if you could have any celebrity on your show, who would it be?
Any celebrity?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see. Any celebrity? Well, I think right off the bat, I probably would shoot for John Maxwell if I could get him on the show, because I'm a huge John Maxwell fan. And there's a lot of people I can think of, but I think he would be number one. Another guy that I would love to have on is Bob Goff, and I actually tried to get Bob on. And I don't know if you've ever heard. I don't have one of his books handy, but I don't know if you've ever heard of Bob Goff. But he wrote a book called Love Does, and then there's one that sequels Everybody Always, and then he's got another book out. But he's a wonderful man. He loves the Lord, but he just is all about loving people. And he started as a lawyer, and he's done some crazy stuff. And anyway, what's funny is he's a New York Times bestselling author. Wow. He in every book he puts his cell phone number in the book. Wow. And my daughter turned me on to his books that I've read, all of his books, and she said, they say he answers his phone. Well, in his second book, he had a story about a young man a witch doctor over in Africa, actually they castrated this young boy. And So it's a horrible story. There's all kinds of terrible stuff, but he was over there reaching out and was able to connect this young boy with a doctor in California. The doctor did these miraculous surgeries and restored the boy to normal functioning health. And it was a crazy story. And I was thinking about that one morning while I'm in a meeting, and a friend comes to me and says, "Hey, our administrative assistant up front this weekend was at an event, and she reached down to pet a dog, and the dog bit her nose off."
Oh my.
Literally. And it was a Rottweiler, and it bit her nose off. And she doesn't have insurance. We're praying for her. They've started stuff to try to help her. Doctors don't want to take her because she has no insurance. And that story from Bob Goff went through my brain. And I said, let me see what I can do for her. Let me call Bob. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, fat chance he's actually going to answer the phone. I ring, and on the other end, what do I hear? "Hi, this is Bob." And I said, "Hey, Bob, it's Russ." He goes, "Hi, Russ." And that was my conversation with this New York Times bestselling author who had the love of God in him and was willing to answer the phone. He put me in contact with that doctor. That doctor put me in contact with one here in Portland at OHSU. They were able to do surgery the same day she went in and restore her nose and put things back. It was an incredible story. And all because of people that I was able to connect with and able to bless her. But that, as far as celebrities, that was your original question. I would love to have a longer chat with him, and maybe someday I'll be able to do that.
That was amazing, though, that he puts his cell phone number in his books and actually answers the phone.
And he sells millions and millions of books.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought, well, I was told by my publisher, don't put your phone number in your book, but
I put my website in my book, and my cell phone is on my website, but people would have to, dig a little bit to get to it.
right.
And because it could create a lot of, if you say you're going to answer the phone, that's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work, but wow. Okay, so I've heard this quote since the movie came out. We Bought a Zoo. It takes 20 seconds of insane courage to change your life. And
I love that. I love that.
Who would have designed, like, the woman's nose gets bit off? You call this guy. He answers the phone. You find out an answer to prayer so she can have surgery. Like, wow. Like, that is amazing.
It is
20 seconds of picking up the phone, making a phone call, and this woman's nose was saved.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is really amazing. It is. It is amazing. It was one of those things where it was like a God thought in my head, and to even call him, but then I had doubts right off the bat. And I've actually talked to him on the phone at least once or twice since then. And I email him every now and then, and I'll just tell him I'm praying for him and his family, which I am. But I just try to stay connected to him.
Right.
I mean, it was very amazing, because it's hard. People, when they get to a certain level, even if they have a heart and a desire to do that, the ability to do it is very, very daunting, almost completely impossible, really, when so many people know you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and you have to protect your time, right? You have to put those boundaries up, because, like you said, we both said family is everything. So if the phone constantly rings, that's wow.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. So, yeah, if anybody really wants a good book, Love Does by Bob Goff, Goff. That is a great book.
I will have to look that up. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's amazing. All righty. So we've got about 10 minutes left. Okay. Is there any last minute things that you want to leave our guests with?
Oh, I'm sure I have plenty that I want to leave them with. I'm really all about encouraging and inspiring people. That's why I call myself an inspiration specialist. Practically, what can I do? I mean, 30 plus years of sales and marketing experience. I can help people design a marketing plan and put content together and really think about how they're selling their business, how they're driving their message, things like that.
Okay.
But really, it comes down to my why in life is to inspire and encourage others so that they can live a more purpose-driven life of significance. That is my why. And when you have a strong why or purpose in your life, I'm really convinced that you need to make sure everything lines up with that. You need to make sure that everything you're doing lines up with that. And when I speak to young people, I tell them, if you don't like what you're doing, if you hate your job, quit. And I usually let that just hang there because they're never told that, right? And I say, well, I mean, get another job first or be responsible. But I mean, definitely do not stay in a job that's going to become your life career that you hate and make yourself miserable. Because when you're always looking to a better tomorrow, tomorrow might not come. And that's not a depressing thought. It's just the reality. None of us know how much time we have. So why not enjoy your journey, enjoy what you're doing now. And if you are having a rough patch, at least be working towards something you enjoy. You can always work to something better. And people say, well, I can't do that, I'm stuck. Well, nobody really is stuck. Everybody has a choice. There might be momentary times when you're stuck or momentary times you can't get out of what you're doing, but you can always find a way. And I was talking to Emily Harmon this morning on my podcast, and she was talking about how she had to make changes, physical changes in her environment and the state she lived in and all of those things in order to make the changes she wanted. And sometimes that's what it takes. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Sometimes it takes making some big changes in your life in general to make the changes you want to make in whatever situation you're in.
Yep.
And so those things are really, really important. I would love for everybody to go out and buy a copy of Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. And because it is an inexpensive book, easy to read. I call it the John Maxwell format because I wrote it. It's very user friendly. When you open the book up, things are highlighted. They're bullet pointed. It's a very user friendly book. And the best comments I've gotten from people besides that are that they get a little value out of every page. They can look at a page and right off the bat, they can read a little bit and get some value for them. And I wanted to make it that way so that, if you read a page or two, you get some good nuggets and you're able to make a positive change. And I've come out with a companion workbook that's also available on Amazon in ebook form. And that helps you get a little more benefit out of all of the ideas I give you and the practical ideas that you can utilize in your life. And again, I don't expect people to pattern themselves directly after me. This is just an idea or a framework that they can utilize to make it a better life for them. So that's what I'm all about, making people happy. I love to make people smile. Every time I go into a room, my goal is to meet every single person in that room and at least say hi to them. And when I used to train my team, they would always tell me that was impossible till they saw me do it every time we went to a meeting. And you can do the things you want to do if you put one foot in front of the other and you make an effort.
Right.
And that's really what it's all about.
So where can we get a copy of Befuddled?
So Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all online booksellers. If you just happen to be in the Oregon, Southwest Washington area, you can get it at some local bookstores and coffee shops. And so that's great for people that are in my neck of the woods, in the Willamette Valley, Salem, and Lebanon and Corvallis, those areas. They have them in different shops there. So it's kind of fun, but makes me feel good that people actually want to carry my book in their store. So
that's awesome. Yes.
And I have 2 book signings coming up, 2 more this next 2 weekends. I have one this Saturday and next Saturday, both at 11 a.m. our time, Pacific time. And one is at Willamette Valley Christian Supply in Albany, Oregon. And one is at a marketplace at the Grove in Lebanon, Oregon. Back up, Staten, Oregon, wrong city. Marketplace at the Grove in Staten, Oregon. And so those will be a lot of fun, both starting at 11 a.m. So if anybody's local and wants to swing by and see me, happy to sign a book, say hi.
Cool. I'm just
Thanks,
putting
Robert. Robert's doing the love.
the love. I'm just putting that information in the comments. So if anybody is in the Oregon area, definitely stop by and see Russ. I'm sure he would love to see you.
Love to see you. That's right.
Love to see you. That is so awesome. I will definitely be getting online and getting my copy of Befuddled for sure. It sounds like a very interesting book, and I love reading books, and I love to see what fellow authors have to say. So I'll definitely be putting my order in for that. And when you get your Eventbrite set up for this Thursday, for your course this Thursday, if you want to put it in the comments of the show comments, please feel free to do that. And that way, if anybody's interested, it's this Thursday. You said at noon. Is it noon?
Thursday at noon Pacific time. And and I just have to I thought it was all in order, but I'm learning and growing every day. And I went to look and it's not all in order, so I have to redo it. But anyway, no, I mean, I have the class all in order. I just don't have the actual advertisement in there. So, and so that is, that's available. So you can go on there and you can just pay on Eventbrite and do all that as well, which is kind of nice. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, russhedge.com is all you need to know. www.russhedge.com. That has all the contacts, all my social media, which I love. It has all of the my email, my cell phone, and I'm great at texting. So if you would rather do things like that, text me or call me. I don't care. And so, because I love to connect with people. But if you go to my website and you go contact Russ, to connect with me, it'll actually send you a Zoom link to connect directly with me. You can schedule time on my calendar. There's time available. You can schedule. It'll send you and me both a Zoom link, and we can get on Zoom like Dorothy and I did, and get to know each other, and that'd be awesome.
Yes. Well, Russ, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. You've definitely given a lot of content and a lot of tips to our viewers today. And for those of you that came in halfway through, there's always the team replay, and it will be up there for a while. I don't think it ever disappears. So, and
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either. Yes. And if you could like and subscribe to the Unstoppable YouTube channel, that would be amazing. And yeah, because it stays on YouTube forever, I believe. I don't think it ever comes down.
It does. And right after you subscribe to the Unstoppable YouTube, you need to go to Russ Hedge and subscribe to my YouTube, because then you will get all of my content, the podcast, the live shows, everything is on there. Yeah.
It's just Russ Hedge YouTube?
The easiest, well, I'll tell you what, the easiest way, it is just under my name, but the easiest way to make sure you get to the right spot is just go to my website and click on the YouTube little icon on the website. It'll take you right to it. Yeah. It's all on there.
Perfect. So, and I put in Russ's website for you guys. So definitely do that. Sign up to his definitely sign up to his YouTube channel, because I mean, there's lots of content there. And yes. And again, thank you so much for coming on, Russ. It was a pleasure having you.
Oh, you bet.
I love your story. I seriously do. It's just been amazing. And thank you to all of our viewers for coming on and supporting us. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.